Alright, Shalom. I want to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Bahashim Rukakudash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in grace and peace to you elect around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. This is your fellow servant, Rokoya from the GMS Orlando camp, coming at you another impromptu lesson. Exhortation, geared more so toward you men, you hopefully like men, to know and understand that the journey gets harder, but it'll never be impossible, for the elect. The Lord has already preordained and predestined a certain amount of men, all right, to overcome the hardships of life and this beast, this beast system, and overcome the flesh ultimately at the end, overcome death, and the journey gets hard, but it'll never be impossible, and life in general, it's hard, man, life in general is hard, especially being a man, and then on top of that, a man of the nation of Israel. Life is hard, to say the least. You got many things, many battles being fought on an everyday basis, especially being a man in his truth, because there's a different battle that comes with not withholding, but carrying this truth, in this world that we live in. There's a balance that we oftentimes are juggling, trying to find, in this truth of ours, that it's hard, man. There's a balance between, your duties with the Lord, your duties with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and then maintaining, your worldly duties, as it were, as well. And, finding that balance is hard, but one thing you always have to keep in mind that it's never impossible. There's always a way, and there's always relief, that the Lord offers up to us in due time. One thing that you always have to keep in mind is Sirach, or Ecclesiastes, the second chapter. In the first verse, serve the Lord, we have to prepare our soul for temptation. We have to prepare to be tempted, tried, because the Lord has proven his friend right now, his true brethren, those who are going to be with him through thick and thin. Right now, things are thin, things are thin for Akim across the globe, man. Brothers go through financial troubles, brothers go through women troubles, as it were, brothers go through family troubles, as it were, job troubles, car troubles. Excuse me. Pains in the flesh, thorns in the side. Some Akim have children, trying to raise your children up in this wicked, evil world. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to deal with, especially at one time, but the Lord tailor-made our battles for us. Each and every one of brothers' battles are tailor-made. There's a reason why you and only you are going through the experiences that you're going through. It's because the Lord tailor-made your obstacles. He tailor-made your trials. He tailor-made your hell. Because your spirit is different. Your trial has to be different to build yourself to build your faith up to where the Lord needs it. Some brothers go through different trials than others, and it's all working us toward the same goal, which is in Ephesians, the 4th chapter. All right, till we all come to the unity of the faith. Everything that brothers go through is all working us toward one common goal, which is to be in unity in the faith of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And shit, we could talk about it, man. We could talk about it. I mean, and that's why the Lord gives us, the Akim, the ministry, prayer, you know what I'm saying, reading. I'm telling you, the Apostle records, he hit the nail on the head every time he says it. Keep your medicine strong. That prayer is a key tool in this truth of ours, man. A key tool in this truth of ours. Because when we start to veer, when shit gets too hard for us, and we start to veer too far to the left or to the right, our central point is always going to be Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And as you pray to the Lord, man, he hears our supplications. Trust me, the Lord hears you. The Lord hears you. It's just the Lord deals with measures of time. He doesn't deal instantaneously. The Lord deals with measures of time that, we can't in the flesh. A lot of shit to where it feels like, we need immediate relief. And like, if some shit don't shake now, I'm through. And the Lord's just looking at us like, hey, man, cool your ass out, chill. It says in Psalm 68:11, be still and know that I am power. And that word still is rapah. Meaning one of the definitions is relax. Relax. And learning how to relax in the midst of adversity is a hard lesson. That's something easier said than done. Quite frankly. It's something that you have to train to do. It's something that your spirit has to be built up to do, to relax in the face of adversity. And that's something that the Lord is teaching us all. That's a lesson that we're all learning. We're learning how to relax in the midst of adversity, in the midst of uncomfortability. Just let go and submit to the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. We're learning the art of submission, which is one of the many virtuous traits of a good woman. Knowing how to submit, knowing how to surrender, to the will of our Maker, man. And this lesson, this impromptu lesson comes off the behest of, a few things, man, that have been going on. And I just wanted to put this exhortation out there through the Spirit, man. Always keep in mind that, the journey is going to get harder. Shit that seem hard now is going to get even harder than that. It's going to get even harder than this. But the journey is not impossible. The Lord showed us that first and foremost. And we have examples now. Here today. That the Lord has set up in the form of our elders and apostles. To show that it's possible. It's hard. Hell yeah. It's hard in the motherfucker. You trying to balance your life and the truth. That shit is hard, man. It's fucking difficult. It's fucking difficult. For brothers who have children, you trying to balance that. You know what I'm saying? You balancing children with the truth. But ultimately, at the end of the day, man, as long as you put the Lord first, as long as you put the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua first, everything else, will work itself out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, just like it did for King Solomon. King Solomon put, the wisdom of the Lord first, and everything else followed. Likewise, us through the Spirit, man, as long as we put Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua first, everything else, that comes up in our life is going to sort itself out. It's nothing that we can do ultimately at the end of the day to change or shift our situations, man, outside of the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. If the Lord wants you to go through a tough-ass lesson, you're going to go through a tough-ass lesson. If the Lord wants you to get it the easy way this time, guess what? Even if you want to go the hard route, you can't. The Lord chose that easy route for you, man. It's just the way things work. Excuse me. It's just the way things work. But the journey isn't impossible, bro. The journey isn't impossible at all. It's doable. That's why the Lord gave us the tools that he gave us. That's why the Lord gave us, the scriptures first and foremost, for our learning, our hope, like it says in Romans the 15th chapter. We read constantly about men who went through trial after trial and tribulation after tribulation, and how they overcame, and one thing that you kind of have to speculate is the in-between, how those men were feeling in that time. You don't know how Apostle Paul was feeling when he was shipwrecked. He was scared to death, probably, man. Scared to death. That was an adversity that he probably, he was feeling like, man, if I don't get help now, I'm done. And the Lord, hey, he had to wait on the Lord to offer up that standard, man. We're in those same shoes, just not in those dire circumstances as of yet. Those dire circumstances are going to come. They're going to come sooner or later. We're going to be put in predicaments, of life and death. First and foremost of that sea hip, and many more woes that are to come. Those life and death matters are going to come, for sure. But right now, the Lord is building us up to handle that through the different trials and tribulations that we go through on a daily basis. But that's all I had to say, man. Lord wants us edifying unto you elect. Just wanted to give this quick exhortation, to you Akim and Akwaf out there, man, especially to you men. The journey gets harder. It gets harder. But it also gets more, you become more tolerant through the Spirit, and you begin to understand more and more that the Lord is going to be with you wherever you are. Whether you're in the lower state, whether you're in the highest state, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai is always going to be there. As long as you submit, and you understand what the will of the Heavenly Father is. Ultimately, man, we can't be builded up to that perfect measure of faith without us going through what we're going through right now. And each and every one of us has our day. And if your day hasn't came, believe me, it will. Every man in this truth has his day, to where that hell is going to catch you. It's going to catch you. It's going to lay hold of you. But at the end, man, the Lord is going to take you in his arms, and offer up that nourishment, that standard. But, hey, shalom to y'all. Akim on the comment board. Shalom, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, Barakatham, shalom. This is James 5:10. Take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Right. And all the men that we read about, they're a perfect example of what it means to endure. What it means to fight this good fight of faith. All the men that we read about, they didn't have no pity-pat journey. They didn't have no happy-go-lucky journey. Every single one of them went through some shit. And guess what? At the end of the day, they had to deal with it. They had to endure. I'm going to take that back. They didn't have to deal with it. The Lord gave them the spirit to deal with it. As long as they continue to trust in him. The Lord gave his men the spirit to bear it, the spirit to endure. We oftentimes read about us being tried in the fire. And brothers got to realize what that means, man. When you go into the refining process of any type of precious metal, it's a tedious process. It's a process that happens over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. When you're trying to get the impurities out of gold, you got to heat that bitch up, cool that motherfucker down, heat that bitch up again, cool his ass down again, heat that bitch up again, and keep doing that same process. And that same process is happening in our life. the Lord heating us up, and then he'll give us that cool down period. He'll heat us up again. He'll give us that cool down period. You know, and in the time of being heated up, you can't be forgetful of the cool down period that the Lord is going to offer up, you know, because it's going to come. The Lord ain't just straight fire. The Lord just ain't going to straight heat your ass up, man. He going to put you under bad ice too. You know, he going to cool you down. He going to give you a cool down period until he see fit to heat your ass up again. It's a part of the refining process, man. You know, and it's easier said than done, but it's able to be done. It's able to be done. And while the refining process is taking place, it's important that you don't adopt that weak, give up mentality, man. It's easy to give up. Niggas in the world would have been gave up. The Lord gave us a different spirit for a reason, man. The Lord placed His spirit on us for a reason, not to give up. Fuck giving up. Fuck getting weak. We all gonna get weak at some point in time, but fuck that spirit, man. You know, you gotta stay strong for you. How about Shem Yahushai? But with that being said, Lord, when it's edifying unto you elect, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakudash, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Grace and peace to you, elect around the four winds, believing and pushing His truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. Shalom. Stay up.